Ian Foster's job is safe. New Zealand Rugby yesterday confirming Fozzie will coach the All Blacks through to the Rugby World Cup. He's relieved.
It's been an emotive few days, isn't it? And but how good is that? Because it's through all this we've seen a team respond, and I think really get excited about the direction we're going in. So I'm pretty ramped to be part of that.
Let's go to David Moffat. He's the former New Zealand Rugby Chief Executive. David, good morning to you. Is this going to cost us the Rugby World Cup, do you reckon?
Good morning, Ryan. I don't know. We'll see. They've made a decision belatedly, but the outcome was entirely predictable, Ryan, and it's been all of New Zealand Rugby's own making. And they've actually made a dog's breakfast of handling this issue, and I now refer to it as Fostergate, because they could have avoided it. If after the series against Ireland, if they knew that they would like Ian Foster to take them to the World Cup, they should have just said so. They shouldn't have put him, the players, other coaches, and importantly the fans through the last 4 weeks. And it got to the point where they either had to sack him or back him, and they backed him. And I think we all hope that they've made the right decision and that we can go on and win the Rugby World Cup. It's going to be tough because the gap between the All Blacks and, as we've seen, between the All Blacks and the other top teams has narrowed dramatically in recent years.
Let me put it to you this way then, in terms of the Rugby World Cup and who we're facing up against, because they have made changes, right? They've brought in Joe Schmidt, enhanced his role within the team. Obviously there's Ian Foster there, and they've brought in Jason Ryan as well. Which team out there has a better coaching lineup than us?
I think Ireland, France, on their day England, and on their day South Africa. South Africa have proven they're the current world champions. We didn't make a good fist of the last World Cup. And I don't think we have the best coaching team available to us, but that's not for me or for anybody else to make a decision on. That's New Zealand Rugby's job.
And the point is they've now said that this is the team that will go through to the Rugby World Cup. Do you believe that? I mean, what if we keep losing? What if we have 3 more consecutive losses? Do you think we could have Fozziegate's not over?
Look, if they were to do that, then they would lose all respect. And I don't think that they will. They're not good at owning their own mistakes, New Zealand Rugby. And I think that they've decided, like they should have done in the past, to back him. I mean, they took the only option that was available to them. I predicted this because here they have a guy who's under contract. And the interesting thing about the media conference they had yesterday was that they had it to announce that a guy who was under contract was staying in his job. I mean, that to me was said it all.
So do you think heads need to roll at New Zealand Rugby? You think get rid of the board, get rid of the chief executive?
I think the board has got to be looked at. Certainly the chief executive, even though he actually did, as I understand it, decide that belatedly he should apologise for the mistakes. But as part of the deal that they've done with the players over the Silver Lake shambles, the players have insisted that they get a complete review of the governance of New Zealand Rugby, and that can't come soon enough. And we all believe we own this game, and they've let the fans and the players down. I've not been at all critical of the players because I think that unfortunately the way New Zealand Rugby's handled this has put a lot of pressure on them. They bounced back against South Africa, and that was fantastic to see. I actually predicted that they would win 34-17 before the game, and we won 35-23. So that was fairly.
You've got some great predictions, which is why we have you on the show, David. But some people might say, well, you've been a little negative. You've been a little dark on our All Blacks. Did that performance at Ellis Park in South Africa, did it not give you any hope or optimism or cause for celebration? Or did you see that as an aberration, as an exception to what will be a rule?
No, it didn't at all. And I have said on Facebook that I believe that we'll now go on and win the rugby championship, and I believe we'll win it quite easily from here, provided they continue to play like that, and there's no reason to say that they can't. And I believe that we'll win 2 out of 3 of the Northern Hemisphere matches on the Northern Hemisphere tour. I mean, we're playing Wales and Scotland, and those should be bankers. England might prove a stumbling block. So I think going into the next World Cup, we'll have a good win-loss record. And of course, we must remember that Jason Ryan has played a huge role in stiffening up our pack. And he was one of the guys that Scott Robertson took in with him, who apparently wasn't good enough 2 years ago. Yeah. And now they've got him in there. And so he's made a difference, just as has Richie Mwanga, who played outstandingly.
He's a high impact coach. David, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate your time and your analysis as well. Former New Zealand Rugby Chief Executive David Moffat.